Hello, Bengal fans, and thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Bengals in Paradise. I am Chasen Scott. In today's video, I'll basically be discussing Duke Tobin being interviewed today and him kind of sharing some interesting comments in the interview today. So I'll be kind of going in depth to kind of what he was saying. And before I get into the video, if you guys could please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, greatly appreciated. Thank you to everyone. Now let's get into the video today. First comment that I wanted to kind of bring up when it came to Duke Tobin was the Marr Chase situation. Basically him saying that they're working on things as of this moment and there shouldn't be any kind of hiccups. I'm not saying the exact quote, but basically that's what he was saying. And basically when I read that, I was totally happy with the situation because there should be no point in waiting to get it done. In what I think personally from just reading between the tea leaves is they're trying to get this Marr Chase extension done sooner rather than later. And I think it's probably going to happen before free agency even begins. So I feel like it could happen anytime between, today all up until the beginning of March. But that's just my gut feel. And it's a no-brainer. Marr Chase is the best receiver in the entire football league, and he should be paid like one. You kind of have a set point in what you want to pay Jamar because Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb got paid, but he's gonna surpass the market and get top dollar, and he's gonna be the one that's gonna probably be the most paid wide receiver in NFL history, and he's gonna reset the bar in that receiver market. So, like I said, no point in waiting for that Marr Chase extension. We all know it's gonna happen. It's bound to happen, and he right now is the number one priority to just get this out of the way. Don't let it be a distraction like last season where Jamar held out of camp, the entire training camp. And the first two games of the season, it kind of showed Jamar was still kind of getting in rhythm and he was still kind of finding his footing, but after that he just took off. But there should be no sense in waiting again. Let's get this deal done, that way Jamar can attend the OTAs, training camp, and he'll be ready to go come the season opener. There should be no excuses to not get this done. Pay Jamar what he wants. He proved that he is the best receiver in this league. So show it and give him anything that he wants because he deserves every penny of this new contract he's going to be getting. Moving along, I want to talk about the Trey Hendrickson comments that Duke was basically saying. He said that he deserves top dollar and they're gonna try to do everything they can because he deserves to get paid, but they're gonna be negotiating a contract that hopefully two sides can come to agreement with. Now, this particular comment kind of got Bengal fans on Twitter wild up today, but the way I look at it as Trey Hendrickson is, arguably the fourth best player on the team, and he is the only defensive player that's on the defense that is elite, that's a game changer, that's an all-star, an all-pro. So it would be, in my opinion, real dumb to either trade Trey or just keep him disgruntled and just brush his contract demands aside. This man deserves an extension. He deserves a raise. No point in trading him because we're in our championship window as of now. And to me, it'll be foolish to get rid of the only player on defense that was truly elite. So if you get rid of him, what do you think the defense is going to look come next season? It's going to look worse than it already is. So to me, there's no point in doing so. If you want the defense to look at least above average this year, the smart thing to do is keep Trey happy, and give him a contract extension because, like I said, he deserves every penny of it. I'm not gonna lie, I see the other side to it where, some fans are clamoring that, he's in his 30s. He's not gonna be producing the same amount of, production that he's been doing with these 17 and a half sacks back-to-back seasons. And I get that, there will be teams clamoring for him, and teams will be willing to trade draft picks to get him. And I get that. You want to go younger, you want to go cheaper, I'm all on board with that. But at the same time, to me, I would lean towards keeping Trey because he is a game wrecker, and he showed, these back-to-back seasons that he's still consistent, he's still dominant, he's still elite. So you should do everything possible to keep Trey happy and keep Trey in Cincinnati. And time will tell what happens with the Trey situation. It's really a toss-up. I hope to God that they end up giving Trey what he wants, which is an extension. So time will tell. We'll see with that, and hopefully both sides can come to some sort of agreement. And the other thing that Duke was mentioning, kind of like an interesting nugget that I found today on Twitter, thanks to Kelsey Conway, was that Duke speaks to Joe Burrow every day. When it comes to free agent decisions or just off-season decisions, and he tries to keep Joe in the loop. And to me, I love hearing that because Joe is your franchise player. He's the most important piece to this franchise. He is the franchise. So what better way than to keep your franchise player happy than to, telling him everything that you guys plan on doing. All these free agent moves that you guys possibly could be targeting, what re-signings you guys are possibly looking at, just keep Joe in the loop. I truly love hearing that, so that's good. And another thing is, to me, the biggest situation is T. Higgins. That I hope they try to find a way to keep T. I understand that's going to be hard. You're going to be paying Jamar. You're going to try to be giving a contract extension to Trey Hendrickson. And T. Higgins is not going to come at a discount. He's probably going to command anywhere from 25 to 30 million. And I know for a fact that if Bengals let him walk, another team will be willing to give him 30 million. And if Bengals were able to come to a certain point close to that ballpark, I truly believe that T will take that. He loves Cincinnati. He always states that he wants to be a Bengal. He grew up a Bengals fan. He loves Joe Burrow. He loves his team. He wants to stay in Cincinnati. So Bengals, please don't let this be another episode where you let one of your best players walk in free agency again. It happens time and time again, which leads me to my next topic with what Duke Tobin was talking about, was basically stating that he held on to players a little bit too long. He thought that it would work out because what they have been doing in the past, but he said that he held on to the players much longer than he anticipated, and he wants to make changes with that. With that, I have no problem with what he said. The problem with what I have with what he said was that he held on to the wrong players, in my personal opinion. You let go arguably two of your top three best players on your defense. That is Jesse Bates and DJ Reader. You let Jesse Bates walk out in 2022, and you let DJ Reader walk out in 2023. And that, to me, was the biggest mistakes that the front office has done. And now it's truly biting them in the ass because they didn't try to find a way to work it out and try to give them the contracts that they deserved. They just let their stars walk, and they didn't do anything to, try to even negotiate with them. They just expected them to walk and leave, and what's done is done. They kept on to players, in my opinion, for too long. I don't know if that's Lou Anarumo. I don't know if that was the front office, but there are players that Duke was talking about that they held on to. But to me, the players that they held on to way longer than expected was Sam Hubbard, Jermaine Pratt, Von Bell. They thought that bringing back Von Bell would, change things up, that would upgrade the secondary. But what they don't realize was Panthers let go of Von Bell for a reason. He was on the decline, and Bengals didn't look at it that way. They looked at it as, Von Bell is one of the core pieces that helped us go on that Super Bowl run, that we went to back-to-back AFC Championship games. What they don't realize is that Von was getting up there in age, and he was declining after every season. But they looked at it as a name. They looked at it as familiarity because of the Lou connection. And again, that bit them. They should have retained their core all-star pieces, which was Jesse Bates. They should have done everything in their power to re-sign Jesse Bates. And they should have gave him what he wanted. I know that the whole spiel with the guaranteed money and all that, I'm not going to go into that, but they should have gave Jesse a fair deal. They should have at least tried their best to give, the contract that Jesse could possibly have taken, but they didn't try. They didn't want to budge because Bengals and David Mulligetta, they always butt heads, and I don't see them ever working out together, which is a shame because David Mulligetta has his values and Bengals have their values, so they just always butt heads and clash. It's just not going to work out. So it's truly sad because Jesse was a player that you drafted and you developed, but you didn't retain, and that was what Bengals' motto is: draft, develop, retain. And they didn't do so, especially with one of their main pieces on defense. And to me, that is so frustrating. That's why I understand why Bengal fans get so frustrated with the front office, is because of these decisions that they do, and it's costing them down the stretch. Still to this day, we're trying to figure out the safety situation ever since Jesse Bates left. And, it's a headache. And it's not only the safety position, it's with the trenches, with O-line and D-line. I feel like every single season we always talk about the needs, and it's always the same needs every single season. And to me, that is what's frustrating. Time and time again in the Joe Burrow era, the offensive line was always a problem. And still to this day, 5 years later, we're still in the same dilemma. We're having offensive line problems. Same with the goals with the D-line. We didn't have a D-line that would never generate enough pressure, and still to this day, we're looking for players that can fill in the defensive tackle and defensive end spots. And it's just like a routine. It's like a cycle going on and on and on, and it's like it makes Bengal fans crazy because we feel like we're just in a loop. We're just getting the same results. Front office just needs to change their ways. They need to realize that what they're doing right now isn't working, and they need to find a way to just change their philosophy when it comes to free agent decisions or retaining their superstars. They just have to find a way to adapt to the rest of the league and just change their ways, because like I said, if they continue doing the Bengal way, it's gonna be another frustrating offseason. And when it comes to the offseason, I believe that this is the most important offseason in Bengals history. There is just so much things that needs to be corrected this year on both sides of the ball. When it comes to the offense, we need to upgrade the trenches. And I'm looking at specifically at the left guard and right guard spot. Everybody knows that Alex Kappa is going to get cut, and Cordell Volson If anything, he's probably gonna be a depth player. He's not starter material. So they need to fill in those holes, whether it's free agency or the draft, to upgrade those positions. And like I said, time and time again, it's always been a weakness on this team. I just hope that they upgrade. I think they're gonna upgrade one guard spot in free agency, and they're probably gonna look to upgrade the other guard spot in the draft. I just hope they can nail the free agent signing and the draft pick down. So all eyes will be on Scott Peters, the new offensive line coach that Bengals just hired, to help them develop and get to the best of their abilities, and to make this O-line the best O-line that Joe Burrow has ever had, because it's very, again, I'm always using the word frustrating, but it's just frustrating seeing Joe get hit these amount of times, time and time again. We need to upgrade the O-line. And when it comes to the guard spot, I know Bengals don't value the guard as much as they do with tackles, but again, that's where changing their philosophies needs to happen. They need to know that the guard spot is just as important as the tackle spot. So in order to do that, you're gonna have to pay the big bucks if you want to get a really good guard. You can't be just settling on paying, an average guard, and you're paying like $4 to $6 million. That's not how it's gonna work. If you want to upgrade, if you want to address the issue, you need to go out there, spend a lot of money on a guard. That's it. And it same goes with the defensive line. Now, they broke the trend with DJ Reader. When that news broke back in COVID year of 2020, that was a shock to me that they actually went out of their way and they're the highest bidder and they gave DJ Reader the bag. That was un-Bengal-like. So hopefully they can do the same this offseason and try to get a 3-tech specifically, like a Milton Williams or Osa from Dallas or Levi from Detroit. They're gonna be not cheap. They're gonna want the bag. So I just hope that Bengals break their trends and try to adjust their guaranteed money situation, whatever the case, but they have to find a way to pay top dollar for these free agents if they expect them to come to Cincinnati. And same goes with the edge position. It's been a weakness for, I feel like, 100 years. I'm tired of it. I want them to just nip that in the bud this offseason and get it right. And I don't want the trench play on both sides of the ball to be a weakness anymore. That's what's hurting this team, is the trench play. In the trenches is where it's the most important, and I feel they haven't been upgrading, or they haven't been doing a very good job in trying to upgrade those positions. So I just hope that Bengals realize that, and I hope the front office can come to terms with changing their ways, that with the way that they've been doing things as of the past, that it's just not cutting out. They need to change. So I hope to see that this offseason, because like I said, the championship window is only so wide open. Everybody's getting older. Contracts are coming up. You're gonna have to pay more players. You have to take advantage of Joe Burrow in his prime. I just can't stress that enough. I just hope Bengals see that, because Joe is 28 now. He's gonna go into his 6th season. I know for quarterbacks that's very young, but still, you just can't take what Joe's doing for granted. You have to seize the opportunity, maximize the whole picture, and try to do what's best for the team to try to get to the Super Bowl again and hoist that Lombardi. I need the trenches to be an upgrade, and I just hope the Bengals can find a way to do so this offseason, because to me, again, this is going to be the biggest offseason in Bengals history. There's just so much holes. I'm curious to what they see, how they go about it. They have to address so much things. There's so much holes that they have to address. So I'm just curious to know what they do in the upcoming months. And after that, that was basically it that I wanted to dissect when it comes to Duke Tobin's comments. You know, he's gonna speak like how he always speaks. It's just professional talk. He's not gonna, if you give him truth serum, he's not gonna say what he really wants to feel. That's just, he's gonna be a professional about it, and he's just gonna just talk like how he has been talking. That, you know, Duke Tobin is Duke Tobin. He's not gonna say something that's gonna break the news to everybody, you know. So time will tell. But Bengal fans, if you guys could please leave a comment and tell me, if you were Duke Tobin, what would you do in this offseason? What kind of moves would you make? What kind of players would you resign? What kind of players would you target in free agency and in the draft? So please, Bengal fans, drop a comment, explain to me all the moves that you think what you would do, and tell me all the moves that you think would help make this team the Super Bowl contender that we all know them to be. Alright? Until then, Bengal fans, that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, if you guys like my content, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Greatly appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your day, Bengal fans. Hooray!